Hey everybody, welcome to Goshen Prepping. I'm glad you're here. Situational awareness should be your number one priority when it comes to safety and something you should practice, practically speaking, 24/7. I mean, obviously you can't practice it too well while you're sleeping. Or can you? As a military member, and a lot of military members can do this, you can easily wake up in the moment's notice and fall asleep anywhere because it's kind of like what's been ingrained to us and what we're used to. But when it comes to situational awareness, we have levels of threat. Because don't think that always you need to be completely on defense because that stress alone will kill you, but you actually have levels that you need to go through. For example, this diagram shows you this. This was developed by Marine Lieutenant Colonel Cooper, and he devised what's called the color code for awareness. And it is the cornerstone for assessing situations in your surroundings. And we're going to talk about each level, starting with white. In this white level, practically speaking, never be in this white situation. Maybe when you're home sleeping and somebody else is standing guard, perhaps. But this is the worst when it comes to situational awareness. You're completely unprepared. You're oblivious. A lot of times people are just on their cell phone or walking around in the store with their face down. And honestly, this is the time in which you have people being victims. You're going to get the most personal injury against you. It is when you're in the most jeopardy because you're not watching what's going on at all. And this is, I don't know the exact number, 99% of the population. They are completely have their heads in the cloud. They have no idea what's going on. And you are asking to be a victim. So in essence, don't fall into this white category. Instead, at least you always want to be in this yellow category. Especially in our perilous times, you have to understand that your life always could be in jeopardy. There could always be something happening to you, and you need to be prepared for whatever may come. This is always searching for threats, always looking around, always assessing the situation, and always making sure that you and your family are in a safe environment to be able to, carry out daily lives. And the only way to do that is get out of the phone, get your head from the ground, and always watch everybody, always look at everybody. So keep in mind, this yellow alert, this yellow level is always going to be where you're going to be striving to be at. Always be here. And again, we'll talk more about this in later videos, how to always be here. But you know what? Let's jump back to the color code and talk about the orange level. This level is when you truly identify a threat. Somebody is a threat to your situation. But think about this. If you're always in that white level, the white level when you're not paying attention to anything, you're completely oblivious, how would you ever even know this? So being in yellow is so you can identify a threat. You identify one, now you're in the orange color code. You need to get prepared to take action. You need to create a plan of action. You need to decide what's going to happen. Now, the options really are, practically speaking, either fight or evade. And I always tell you, a lot of people think they need to fight in the situation. Evading should almost be your number one priority, by the way, especially if you have a family. Don't let pride get in the way. Don't let your ego get in the way and say, I need to fight this, whoever this intruder is. You need to evade. But understand, sometimes, especially if you see other victims who may come into play, you may not have any choice but to fight. If you have a family, listen, hon, kids, get out now, run, and go take action. But at least protect your family. But honestly, I look at as far as being the watchdogs, we need to protect the other sheep as well. That's what we have to do. So you always need to be in a situation for protection. Now, you have to have a very strong warning here and be very careful about this. Once you get into this orange level, your situational awareness will start to drop as well, naturally. So you need to still keep going on what's around here. There's a time when at Walmart, they were having an active pew-pewer come in. Of course, I have to say those words because of YouTube. And a watchdog saw this happening, and everybody's running from the store. So he decided to go ahead and pursue this. And because of that, his situational awareness went down. He didn't see another person coming up right behind him who was part of the same group, and they took him out and killed him. Keep that in mind, that even though you are in an orange and now we have a threat level, you're taking a plan of action, that plan should also still include situational awareness to make sure nobody is flanking you or coming up behind you. All right, the next level. That would be the color red. You are now in the fight. And again, situational awareness in here, it's very difficult to be in a fight and still be aware of all the surrounding of what's happening around you. This is a lethal mode, or a lot of people call it a survival mode. And this is when your training should take place. Because if you haven't trained or drilled and you get yourself into a fight, that's the next level. We'll talk about that in a second. That's a really bad situation. So you always need to know what's going on. Now, for martial arts, one of the things we teach constantly is multiple person attacking. So you basically go against one person. Conventional martial arts, you're just sparring that one person. But we do drills in which we look at multiple attackers, always seeing who may be coming up behind you. And we test our students with this as well. In fact, They love to test us, by the way, as instructors. When you're not looking, they'll try to come up behind you and attack you. And that's where it's really fun to be able to protect yourself. But obviously in a real situation, this red level, you understand that things are happening, your heart's racing and you're breathing and you're actually actively engaged in a fight. It makes you far more vulnerable for somebody coming up behind you, and your situational awareness still needs to take place. Even though it's more difficult, you need to always watch what's going on around you, because of course when we talk about the criminal threat, this is that situation in which they will take advantage of the fact that you are engaged solely in that one person. And that's when we hit this black level. You do not want to be in this level ever, by the way, because it is black for a reason. You are now in a panic mode. Your heart is racing. I mean, your brain's going a mile a minute. Have you ever been in like this situation before? You're totally panicky. You get tunnel vision. Literally, as your body goes into what's called sympathetic activation, you go into tunnel vision, your pupils constrict. You can only see practically what's right in front of you. And even then, you're not seeing very clearly. You're getting very confused, hyperventilating. Your heart is going so fast that literally you can hear it pounding in your ears. This is such a bad situation. Situational awareness is not happening in this situation at all. You could literally have safety right next to you, but you don't even think about it because you are so focused on one specific thing. This is a very bad situation. And when this happens, by the way, it usually happens because training has not taken place and you don't know what to do. You get in this panic mode. And that's why I talk about drills and training until you can't stand it anymore is the only way to get past this. Continuous drills and training. All right, so what can we do for this? What are some practical things that we can do as preppers to be ready for this? Number one, you need to always be in that yellow level. Remember, this yellow level is constant and continuous situational awareness. You always need to assess the situation. You always need to look at everyone. Always be ready. Always be on alert. Never on your phone. Never with your head down. Never not watching every single person wherever you're at. It takes a lot of practice, by the way, to get here. But you know what? At this video, maybe you've never really practiced it. Today's your day. You need to continuously practice this and develop it. And you know what? Over time, it becomes second nature, which is nice because, you know, at first, you feel like you need to always tell yourself, look, look, look. And then over time, you don't even have to tell yourself anymore. All right, again, we'll make more videos on that later. But number two, you need to always be training for level red. And if you've never trained or drilled for this, your cerebral cortex has no idea what to do and you will freeze. You will go into that panic mode. In other words, people who haven't trained in drill, you go straight from orange right into the black, bypassing red altogether. Practically, there is no fighting for you. In this situation, you need to practice for red. You need to practice every single situation you can think of. Talk about completely counterattacking, having situational awareness, using anything you can as a weapon, and you need to train and drill for this fight. It's going to happen. Understand these situations, these days are getting darker, getting more violent, and you need to be prepared for you and your family. But remember, this all starts with situational awareness. Be aware of your surroundings always. We'll make more of a video about this in the future. And of course, being ready. Any comments below on this? Tell me what you've done. Have you ever been in a situation where you're in the red and you're able to actually handle yourself? Because you know what? If you haven't drilled and trained, the red level will be bypassed. You go straight to black and then panic mode happens. I've been there before myself too, back in the day. So anyway, put in the comments below. Tell me some stories. I like to hear them. And as always, thanks for watching.